This Saturday evening, Ireland take on Tonga in Pool B in what is shaping up to be probably the most physical and competitive encounter of this Saturday. Both teams have named really strong starting 15s. Potentially more surprisingly so, Andy Farrell's men have gone with pretty much a full starting 15. Probably a couple swaps you could put in there with Dan Sheehan coming in for Kelleher. But once again, I'm not sure if Dan Sheehan's fully fit. So yeah, as I say, this is probably the strongest, barring maybe a name or two, 15 that Ireland could put out. Now look, that comes with its own risks. The likes of Tonga being incredibly physical can really put in a sort of a damaging tackle or two with a game. Legal tackles obviously, hopefully as well. We don't want any red cards in this game. But yeah, that does come with some risks, especially when you're playing a strong first 15. I mean, Sexton, as a fly half, you're targeted, so if any of those Tongan players can really get to Sexton, that could be of concern to Ireland, especially with big games looming in the background with Scotland and South Africa. Now let's just go through the Irish team. Look, really strong front row with Kelleher getting the start. Porter and Furlong will be looking to dominate at scrum time against what is a strong Tongan front row. Tammy Fuina, I believe he plays for Racing 92, so he's at the top end of European rugby, will be playing against Porter on that loose head and tight head clash. Now look, that's going to be a really good opportunity for Porter to get some prep before going into the colossal encounter with South Africa, in which scrum time is really important. So look, the Irish can really target the scrum time as a sort of a trial for these big games. Moving into the second row, Byrne and Ryan continue their combination from the Six Nations. Byrne moving from 6 to 4 this weekend, as opposed to last weekend starting at 6. Very versatile player, can play both very well. Omani at 6 adds that extra line-out jumper. Now when you're playing against the top teams in modern world rugby, it's really important to have that third jumper. Going into the Scotland-South Africa games, you've got Jamie Ritchie going up for Scotland in the 6 jersey and Khaleesi for South Africa. So having that sort of third line-out jumper is almost crucial in modern rugby. Josh van der Fleer and Doris form the 7 and 8 combination. Look, really strong back row for Ireland. Got great balance across it. Omani with his sort of high work rate and aggression. Van der Fleer with his ability to get over the ball and tackle like crazy. And then Doris with his ball carrying. So you can see how they really do complement each other and almost form the complete back row. Now Josh van der Fleer is obviously there if both Irish hookers go down injured to hit the line out darts also. Moving into the back line, Conor Murray partners Johnny Sexton. Murray coming in for Jamison Gibson Park. Now look, Ireland have a really good competition in that 9 jersey. Both 9s can play incredibly well. You'd probably say Murray's the more sort of set piece dominant in terms of kicking and sort of slightly more structured play, whereas Gibson Park sort of plays a little bit more of what he sees, a little bit faster around the fringes of the breakdown. But yeah, 2 quality 9s. Sexton at 10 plays his second game in a row, obviously trying to build up some game minutes after his ban of the warm-up matches. So Sexton will be looking to go well and sort of add on to his last performance against Romania, which was rather impressive. Now the centre combination of Aki and Ringrose is one of the best probably in world rugby. Bundy Aki adding the sort of direct carrying through the middle, and then Ringrose sort of benefiting off of the space that Aki can create. Now moving into the back 3, Lowe with his huge boot is on the left wing, Mac Hansen on the right wing with Hugo Keenan at fullback. A really nice sort of back 3, similar to the back row. They complement each other really quite nicely. And yeah, as I say, there's a lot of continuity in selection here, so hopefully these players, after sort of missing some of the warm-up matches, can really start to gel and sort of build off the performance against Romania. Now if we look at some of the Tongan key names, I've already mentioned Tammy Fuina at scrum time will add a really big impact and will be a good battle against him and Porter. Fafita is another Tongan name in which can really tackle and can really carry with such sort of aggression and power. So the Irish will have to stay alert, especially in defence, with some really big ball carriers in the Tongan team. Potentially lacking in fitness slightly, but they do make up for that in other areas. But yeah, I'd definitely back the Irish to pull away later in the game and potentially be a more competitive opening half. Now Solomon Akata for Tonga on the wing. I believe he's transferred from Exeter maybe to Leicester now. He's been a sort of a key figure in the Exeter team, one that in which plays in the centre, but is playing on the wing in this game. You don't want to have a one-on-one with him. He will definitely try to run over the top of you, and yeah, potentially doesn't add too much in terms of the skill areas, in terms of kicking, but what he does do is make up for that in sort of raw power and aggression. Now, Fekitoa, in the centres will be something that Aki and Ringrose have to watch out for. I believe he's capped for the All Blacks, so that doesn't happen overnight. And he's a quality player in the midfield. I watched him play quite a lot for Wasps actually when he was over in the UK, and he was definitely a player to watch out for. Can do some brilliant offloads, sort of Sonny Bill Williams style, and you've got to watch out for him, because with some of the pace and the power in the Tongan backline, if he does get an arm free and give that offload, you can be sort of in trouble. Now, I've sort of identified the set piece as the key point in this game. Now, Ireland will have, as I said, with the physicality of the Tongan pack, a real good opportunity to work on some contact area skills and set piece going into the South Africa game, which will be, if they think this is going to be physical, the South Africa game will be twice as physical. But yeah, Tonga do provide a real good opportunity to sort of run your set plays, run your sort of moves against a quality opposition, in which if you don't get it right, they will punish you. Now, Ireland struggled against a similar style team in Samoa in the Rugby World Cup warm-up matches, in which they only sort of scraped through by sort of one score. So, look, Ireland will probably try and rectify the Samoan performance against a team in which played sort of the same sort of style as Samoa, with a lot of the Islanders adding masses of physicality. So, look, a good chance for Ireland to improve going into the big games. Now, just a couple of the names on the bench. The backs on the bench for Ireland will hopefully add quite a lot of impact, with Casey, Byrne and Henshaw. Now, you've sort of seen Sexton come off around the 60-minute mark, which I anticipate will happen again, unless the game's really close, which I don't really anticipate it to be. Byrne coming on sort of at the 60-minute mark offers Sexton the ability to sort of not drain his battery too much and avoid some injuries late on in the game. So it'll be interesting to see how Byrne can click when he comes on. Henshaw is also on the bench. I presume he'd come on for Bundy Aki at 12. And Irish have got real good strength and depth in the sort of the centres, with McCloskey there also. So look, the Irish have got some really good strong combinations there, which they can look to build on. And then Craig Casey is the third choice 9 for Ireland, behind Murray and Jameson Gibson Park, and he can come on and add some real nice pace to the way Ireland play. And as I'd say Craig Casey is probably the player in which will contribute most to the speed of ball, which will hopefully see Ireland pull away later on in the game as the Tongans do tire. Now, on the bench for Tonga, we have Veolanu, who is number 8. I'd say mainly number 8, can play sort of the other flanker positions, but he, I believe, is playing still for Glasgow Warriors. So he plays at the top end of sort of the Challenge Cup, with Glasgow getting to the final there. So look, he's one hell of a ball carrier and can really take defenders as prisoners. So look, he's the physical players in which you look to try and get Sexton off before he has to face them late on in the game. So Tonga have got some really strong players in here, benefiting from the changes in eligibility rules. You've got Takalua, who I believe was usually the Tonga captain, is on the bench, who also adds a goal kicking option. Now, if we look historically, we have to go quite a long way back to see who previously won this game. It was a 32-9 victory to Ireland in Brisbane in 1987. So look, you can't take anything at all from that game in terms of sort of looking to predict this one, but it's quite interesting to look back at the historical landscapes between the two sides. So look, Ireland are definitely odds-on favourites to win this one, and to win it by quite some margin. I believe the bookies might have it by like 30 points or so, if not more. Look, I believe it will be relatively close in the first half. And if I had to predict, I'd say Ireland do come away with quite a convincing win in the second half and probably pull away by sort of 20 to 30 points, maybe more. But look, you can't underestimate this rather strong Tongan team. And let me know what you think about the teams in the comment section down below. Especially what do you think of the fact that Andy Farrell's men are going with sort of their strongest 15 as opposed to sort of resting players. Now, nothing is like test match rugby. You can train as hard as you want behind closed doors, but it's what really counts is on the pitch, and that's where you do most of your learning. So maybe it is a genius decision from Andy Farrell to play stronger teams against some sort of not necessarily too threatening opponents. Obviously, you can't take Tonga lightly, but it's not the biggest game Ireland will play in the pool stages. So look, if it comes off and Ireland qualified as top seed from the pool, it'll be job well done from Andy Farrell. But if they do come away with some sort of big injuries, if you see Sexton and Van der Fleer get injured in a game against Tonga, you probably question the selection, and maybe Andy Farrell should have rested players. So look, it's going to be a very good contest, a very physical one, so hopefully we'll see some big hits and some entertaining rugby. So as I say, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll get back to every single one as I always do, and yeah, enjoy the game, and yeah, I look forward to doing the review of it. So thank you very much for watching.